Hello everybody and welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us for another episode of Garage Gamers.
E3 special!
That's right, the man yelling the words of wisdom is Zorbz right here.
Yeah, that's me.
That's him. And I'm IceCube. We are here to give you a clear breakdown on the EA...
E3 special! Sorry.
We got half of it right. The EA press conference. We just want to start with that, and we're going to go through multiple videos going through each press conference and just giving a little quick overview of what happened and what we thought of them. So starting with EA, how do you feel like it went, Zorbz?
Well, I feel like we're starting from worse going up the way, but it's actually not that way. We're just doing the first one. I thought it was boring.
Boring? Okay,
because there's nothing for me on there.
Nothing
I mean, Battlefield 1 was the only one, but...
Nothing for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have to admit, I was disappointed as well. And not just because of EA, but literally because of the entire show so far. I'm not a happy chappy, and I'll explain why as we go through. But in terms of sticking with the topic EA, yeah, I just kind of felt like no surprises.
Couple of sequels.
Yeah, it's just we're kind of basing this on the emotions and feelings we get out after we come out of them, and it's great when you walk out of these things and you're super excited for what's coming out, and we're just not feeling that this time. Isn't that right?
No, because I mean, as I said, Battlefield was the only one that I was like, oh, that looks awesome. But it was already revealed before.
That's right, yeah.
So it's like, well, there's the hype.
And that's the thing, like most of the things I was excited about so far for E3 is the stuff that was announced the year before, so it's just all the new things, just like... But anyway, sticking with EA, so they got Battlefield 1, which is actually Battlefield, God knows what number they're up to really now. Yeah, yeah. But it's set in World War One. They got biplanes, old school cannons, tanks,
gas.
Yep. So what are your feelings about that now that you've seen more of it?
Well, it's nice going back because we haven't had those war games. We've had a lot of futuristic stuff. Well, not so much on Battlefield's part, more Call of Duty. But it's just nice to go back to that old gritty feel, like, you know, because it's a shooter and it's set in World War, it's World War One. We haven't done World War One.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of craving to get back in that setting for a while with Call of Duty, who keeps insisting on going more and more futuristic, when all we really want to do is go back to a more realistic time. Everyone seems to be craving for World War Two, but because that's really been done to death already, going to World War One is actually pretty cool. Yeah. It's a pretty cool move, and so I'm actually curious to see how it turns out. I'm sure it will still have that Battlefield feel, that Battlefield flavour, which I actually don't want, to be honest with you. I'd rather they kind of, use the Battlefield name is okay, but just separate the game from the feeling, keep the multiplayer mode there, and keep those people happy. But if they can make it feel a little different, as well as look a little different, then I think I'll be pretty impressed.
Yeah, well, I mean, they might be able to do something since they did a Hardline, which is a bit different. So
yeah, that's it. But the thing is, Hardline was great, but it still felt like Battlefield, just with different things around you. I would love it if they can just change that feeling a bit with this game, and there's a chance they could. It's hard to describe it. You'll know the change of feel when you play it. So moving on, Titanfall 2. What's your thoughts of Titanfall 2?
Don't care.
Are you surprised they made Titanfall 2?
No, because everyone said it was amazing multiplayer, but it had no campaign.
For the first week.
Yeah,
for the first week before everyone stopped playing it and you couldn't get on the server.
Yeah, that.
Because they all got bored of it because it was
repetitive. Yeah. But what was there was apparently good. I didn't bother playing it because I'm not into multiplayer games.
Well, it was good in the sense that it had a large budget behind it. It was like a AAA release title. They invested heavily money-wise into it, so it's almost guaranteed to be good because of how much money and marketing they put into it. But as an actual game, I mean, it didn't last very long. It was, and they didn't have the single-player campaign, as you pointed out. But we should point out that Titanfall 2 will have a single-player campaign, so I'm glad to hear that they kind of made amends from that mistake. I'm going to call it right now. It was a mistake not to put single player in.
And everyone says, oh, it's got mechs in it. They're awesome. I'm like, I don't really care. Like, it's still futuristic to me. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah. And this is bordering on my gripes for what the E3 show has been like, which we'll do a bit later on.
Okay.
But yeah, it is a bit more of the same old stuff. I mean, you know, mech riding robots. It's I kind of prefer more old school mech warrior style. If you're going to start doing, you know, people riding in
Zone of the
giant.
Enders.
Oh no, that's fast paced as well. I like the kind of more grounded.
Like,
yeah, nice, yeah. So look, I mean, it's bound to please the people who were looking forward to Titanfall and were felt a bit let down by it. I don't think it's gonna dazzle the people outside of that spectrum, but I don't know. Did you like it? I'm not excited by it.
Yeah, I don't care less.
Yeah, but you know, I'm sure a lot of you will. So moving on, we've got FIFA 17.
Next.
That's another one.
It's just another. It's another version of soccer. Like
it is.
You played FIFA 01. You've played all of them. Like,
yeah.
They'll just keep getting new mechanics and fine tuning it. I mean, they're good. They're good games. Like,
well,
if you like soccer, you're gonna like that game.
The thing which drives me crazy, and this goes for all the EA Sports, they buy the sole rights to use the league, the main leagues, the most popular leagues. Like in Madden, they've taken the sole rights to NFL, and as soon as they buy the rights, the competition is just dead. So they go into casual mode and just do these lazy efforts at games. Or I don't think they realise that they're lazy efforts, but from an outside looking in, they do come across that way. Particularly, I mean, I'm a Madden guy. I used to play it a lot. I love American football, NFL, and I was very passionate about playing Madden back in the early days. But when it hit, I think it was 2007, then it really started to just flatline for me, and it just became like you understand the AI, you understand what happens when it gets within the 2-minute warning, because they just keep doing the same things all the time. You know how the mechanics work. You know you can predict the CPU all the time, and that hasn't changed since 2007. So
I find that with the basketball games too. Every time you're playing a basketball game, they just get really intense and just smash you at the end.
Yeah, they do mix it up a bit more. I think 2K is pretty good at the basketball games, to be honest. In fact, 2K, I would have loved to have still been doing ESPN 2K games for the NFL series.
Yep.
They were threatening to take the trophy off Madden for best NFL game, and then so what did EA do? Bought the sole rights to the NFL so that 2K didn't have a chance. They just wiped them out that way, and that angered a lot of people.
About the money.
It angered a lot of people when they did that, but that's kind of old news now. So moving on from sports, we'll ditch sports now. We'll move on to one that I used to love a lot. A series called Mass Effect, and they're doing a long-awaited sequel called Mass Effect Andromeda, which I'm sure most of you have probably heard about right now. They revealed a teeny tiny bit more in the new trailer.
Yeah, I didn't bother to even watch that one because I have not played any of the Mass Effect games. My god! Okay, to be fair, I tried Mass Effect 1 and I was like, "There's too much dialogue." This was coming when I didn't like a lot of dialogue. Now I do, so I kind of feel like if I went back, I'd probably enjoy it a lot more.
That Mass Effect trilogy is one of the greatest trilogies and games ever made.
I will get to them. I will.
Yeah, well,
so
it's harder when you're going backwards, but it's still one of the most amazing. And it was back when BioWare was BioWare and it hadn't been EA'd yet. I call it getting EA'd. It's like a thing. when you go to EA, you get EA.
Inject some EA into it.
That's pretty much. But to be honest with you, look, it kind of little snippets of gameplay that they showcased in that very short trailer after such a long wait was, well, firstly a bit disappointing because it's like after all this time we still don't know anything about the game. We still can't see what the game really looks like. So we're going to have to wait probably another year before we can get some real hardcore details on what this game's going to be all about. But it looks and sounds and feels like it's going to be almost like an open world space game, a little bit like No Man's Sky, but in Mass Effect world. Now, in premise, that should be the most awesome thing ever created to man. But because the original BioWare team's all broken up now, EA's got their hands on it. The trailers got these stupid pop tunes, like top 20 tunes, like backing the track. That never would have happened back in BioWare days. But BioWare would have like nailed the atmosphere from the word go. Now I'm not going to slam it entirely or write it off entirely because it's still very early days. But I am very worried about where Mass Effect is heading. Yeah, it still could prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. I would love you to prove me wrong. But my doubts are pretty high for Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, I just don't want to say anything about it because I haven't played the other one.
Yeah, you can say that one. That's fine. But there was another trailer called Fee, which is for a slightly was it younger audience? Would you say?
No, it's just one of those indie projects like they did Unravel last year.
What did it look like to you? It was like a very purple and black kind of setting.
Yeah, it's very purple and black.
Flying kitty dragon like Spyro or something.
Yeah, I mean it's cool looking. I mean it's nice that EA's got this little subdivision where they do some smaller titles and try and promote indie developers.
Yeah.
I mean that's what the industry needs. You can't just keep using the same guys until they're 80 years old. You've got to keep getting fresh talent. So why not grow them in-house, you know? And there you go.
Yeah. And so, also, not everything has to be AAA as well. No. I'd love to see more kind of... I mean, you kind of got... You got AAA, you got like mid-tier, then you got indie. It seems that all we're getting is AAA or indie.
Yeah.
The mid-tiers, where are they going? That's what we're missing, and that's why the quantity seems to have dropped for the games that are coming out now. At least it feels like it anyway.
Yeah, the quantity of AAA, and then there's a buttload of these indies that...
Yeah.
A lot of them are just like... It looks like someone made them on Flash.
But they don't do these mid-tier games anymore because they're worried about what the review scores are going to come out and be like.
Yeah,
I don't care what the review scores say. Like a lot of my favourite games were these mid-tier ones.
Yeah.
I wish we'd get them again. Anyway.
It just must be all about cost. I don't know why.
Probably. But Fee looks pretty good to you. It looks. It's not really a me type of game, but you know, it looks like a pleasant change of pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, should be good. Then we've got what else did we do?
EA decided we're going to give you like no footage pretty much of all the Star Wars games we have coming up. Like it was, they did an interview with Amy Hennig and it was like she's working on the projects. Like we know that.
Yeah.
Show us some of the game.
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably a bit early days because it was only last year or this year when Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront came out. So that's still on their minds. They're supposedly doing DLC for that. I mean, wherever that's gone, you know, I think EA owes the season pass holders an apology for that one. But like I think obviously they've started working on something new. So they just did a little kind of developer speech montage for Star Wars. They didn't announce anything particular, but they just said, hey, we're
working on multiple Star Wars projects. Sounds like that.
Yeah. So I don't know. Who knows? That could be anything. So we'll hold off that one. But look, guys, that's a wrap for the EA press conference. That's our thoughts. Overall, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Yeah, I agree.
It was boring.
Thumbs down. Look, to me, there just wasn't enough original ideas. Sequels for Battlefield, sequels for Titanfall 2, just predictable, generic shooter stuff that you could see coming a mile away, and just hoped that they wouldn't do it, but they did. That's probably unpopular commentary, but too bad.
Like you said, where are the mid-tier games? Like, I would have preferred like 10, just decently sized games over like one AAA game because it just felt like there was nothing there.
Yeah, and they'll probably average Metacritic scores of 7 out of 10. These games, maybe even 6, but I always find that like out of those 7 out of 10 scored games, I'll like a good chunk of them. I'll enjoy a good chunk of them. I don't care what the score is. It's each to their own. I might think it's a 10. I might think it's a 2, but I may think it's a 10. Each to their own.
And not everything has to be like 100 hours of gameplay.
That's true. That's very true. Look, we're out of time, but thanks very much, guys. We're going to be also covering the Bethesda, Ubisoft, Xbox, and PlayStation press conferences, plus do an overall wrap of E3. We hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.